All right, guys, look, man, playtime is over. Playtime is absolutely over. We got a huge update from Alexa Philippou, Annie Costabile, and all the inside reporters, so to speak. And it is officially going down. Everything is kicking off tomorrow. Will the Indiana Fever be coring Kelsey Mitchell? What is about to happen?
The waiting game is finished. This isn't just buzz or rumors anymore. It's the reality the Indiana Fever are facing within a day. From April 6th to 7th, the designation window opens and all the uncertainty surrounding Kelsey Mitchell's future will finally be settled. The big question now, will the team place a core designation on her? Will she agree to it, or are they on the verge of losing another key player?
Okay, here it says the designation period will be held April 6th through the 7th. That is tomorrow and Tuesday. It is going down. Will Kelsey Mitchell get cored? Okay, this is where qualifying offers can be set up and core designations can be extended. Will Kelsey Mitchell say, hey, I don't?
This is exactly why tomorrow carries so much weight. The designation window isn't just paperwork. It's the moment teams make real decisions, handing out core tags and qualifying offers. It's also when Kelsey Mitchell and her representatives sit down with the Fever's front office for a defining conversation. One where she either agrees to a one-year max deal at age 30 or respectfully makes it clear she wants to test free agency in search of a longer-term contract. And the pressure is on Indiana to decide how far they're willing to go, because one key detail keeps getting overlooked. Mitchell isn't a young prospect anymore. She's 30, right in the middle of her prime, and this is her window to secure her future. If the Fever believe they can simply place a core designation on her and move forward without offering long-term stability, they risk repeating the exact same mistake they made last offseason.
Over it, man. All over it. Okay, then here we have the negotiation period, the 8th through the 10th. Okay, signings can begin April 11th. Saturday, the draft will be April 13th, and this kind of explained even more. So on April 8th, free agency negotiation periods will begin, okay? And there's going to be a lot of verbal agreements and announcements coming out prior to the 11th when the free agents actually sign contracts and offer sheets. There's going to be verbal agreement. It's almost like the NFL's that period right before free agency.
April 8th through 10th. That's when things really start to spiral. This isn't just a quiet negotiation window. It's when free agents and their agents begin reaching out, exploring options, and testing the market. Rumors start flying, verbal deals get whispered around, and contract figures begin to surface. It mirrors the NFL's tampering period, where everyone already has a pretty clear idea where players are headed before anything becomes official. By April 11th, once signings open up, Kelsey Mitchell's situation will be crystal clear. She'll either have secured a long-term deal with Indiana, agreed to a one-year core tag, or be entertaining offers from teams with the cap space and intent to give her the stability she's looking for. With the Golden State Valkyries joining the league, expansion adds even more opportunity, and teams are expected to come in aggressively, ready to make big moves.
Last season, where the Indiana Fever blew it and brought in Natasha Howard, who thought she was going to win MVP, and they blew it and thought they were going to brought in DeWanna Bonner, who scammed them out of money, wouldn't even show up to work. They blew it by bringing in Sidney Colson. They blew it by bringing in Bree Turner, and all. They blew it by having Stephanie White and friends. They blew it. This is a big week, y'all. This is a big deal, and I'm going to be watching like a hawk. I'm going to be watching the Indiana Fever like a hawk. Y'all better not mess this up. Don't mess this up. It starts tomorrow with Kelsey Mitchell. It starts with Kelsey. What's going to happen with her?
Let's break down what Indiana's front office is really up against, because the cap situation is a lot trickier than it seems on the surface. Based on reports using SpotTrack data, the Fever currently have 3 players locked in: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Damiris Dandas, forming the core of the roster. But things are about to get expensive. Boston's extension is kicking in soon, and it's expected to be a max deal. Fully deserved, but it significantly impacts flexibility. Now, If Indiana brings Kelsey Mitchell back on a max contract, whether it's a one-year deal or something longer, they're left with roughly $3.6 million in cap space. And that's before factoring in restricted free agent Lexi Hull, or the possibility of re-signing Erica Wheeler. Here's where it gets tight. A WNBA roster requires 12 players. So once you do the math, that leaves around $400,000 per remaining spot if Mitchell and Boston are both on max deals. Considering the league minimum for 2025 falls somewhere between $270,000 and $300,000, depending on experience, there is some room, but not much breathing space. And if Hull and Wheeler return on bigger contracts, that flexibility shrinks even further. That's why this decision on Mitchell goes beyond just retaining a star. It's really about shaping the roster around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston for the long haul and figuring out how to stay competitive over the next several years.
I don't even want to break down the numbers. I want to get into this part. Do the Fever prioritize keeping the core? And this is going to be a big deal. I think the Indiana Fever are going to offer, a core to Kelsey Mitchell. Now, I think out of respect for her, if she says she wanted to scour the open market because she wants a multi-year deal, I think they would allow her to do it. I think out of respect for Kelsey, they would allow her to do it. Okay, here it says working under the assumption that Mitchell is re-signed.
Now let's address the obvious issue. Indiana's free agency last year didn't go as planned. They added players who could contribute in stretches, but none truly shifted the team's trajectory. The roster moves brought some experience and depth, yet they still fell short of solving the bigger problems, especially when it came to consistency and overall impact. On top of that, sticking with the same coaching direction only made things more complicated, and it ended up being a decision that didn't deliver the results they hoped for. But this offseason feels different. With Stephanie White now in charge, there's a new level of direction and accountability. She's already shown she can handle strong personalities and get the most out of her players. Still, for that to translate into success, the front office has to back her with the right roster moves. And it all begins with Kelsey Mitchell. The decision she makes now, whether she believes in the organization enough to commit long-term, could shape everything that comes next.
Here it says there's still some room to operate even if the team has its star trio locked up, but the margins get smaller if Hall and Cunningham come back on substantial raises. And of course, given the essentially blank palette the team enters free agency with, there's always the possibility they change direction and take a big swing on another available player, which would change the math completely. The good news for fans is the anxiety will resolve soon, and we will all see what the Fever front office has up its sleeve. And that's going down.
Here's how this could realistically play out. Indiana likely puts the core designation on Kelsey Mitchell and sits down with her, making it clear they want her to be part of their long-term plans. But at the same time, they might hesitate, want to see how the new CBA impacts the salary cap before committing to a multi-year max deal. From Mitchell's side, the response could be straightforward. Through her representatives, she acknowledges the interest, but makes her position clear. At 30 years old, she's not looking for future promises. She wants long-term security right now. If it unfolds that way, Indiana could ultimately allow her to explore the open market, not because they don't value her, but because they respect her enough to pursue the deal she believes she's earned. And that's where things really heat up. There are multiple teams with cap space and a clear need for a proven scorer who can fit alongside developing talent. The Golden State Valkyries are starting fresh and could make a bold move. The Dallas Wings have financial flexibility to spend. And the Atlanta Dream are in a position where adding a player like Mitchell could help push them to the next level.
Say, hey, respectfully, can you guys not chorus? We would love to sign a multi-year deal with you, but if not, allow us to go see what we can get on the open market. We're about to find out, y'all. We are about to find out. It's about to go down all week. Make sure you got them bell notifications on, because at any given moment, I'm going to be dropping a video. Me and Angry Fan Sports going to be live. Go over there and subscribe to Angry Fan Sports. It's going down, y'all. It's hoop time. Get down.
So here's what this week truly represents for the Indiana Fever, and honestly, for the entire WNBA. It all starts April 6th, when the designation window opens and Kelsey Mitchell sits down with the organization for a defining conversation. By the end of that day or shortly after, we'll have clarity, whether she's accepting a core tag locking in a multi-year deal, or preparing to test free agency. Then from April 8th to 10th, things escalate fast. The negotiation period begins. Teams start making serious offers, and behind-the-scenes deals begin to surface. It's the moment where you find out which franchises are ready to compete now, and which ones are still playing the long game. April 11th is when it all becomes official. Contracts get signed, players commit, and rosters begin to take shape. Just 2 days later, on April 13th, the WNBA draft arrives, meaning whatever Indiana decides in free agency will directly impact their draft strategy. If Mitchell stays, they can focus on defense and depth. If she leaves, suddenly scoring and playmaking become top priorities. There's no way around it. This is the most critical stretch of the Fever's offseason. Last year, they played it safe, and it cost them. They added veterans who didn't move the needle, stuck with a system that didn't maximize Caitlin Clark's talent, and ultimately wasted a historic rookie season by surrounding her with the wrong pieces. But this year feels like a reset. Stephanie White is now leading the team. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are firmly established as the core. The foundation is there, but the pressure is on to build around it the right way.